how does an evergreen retainer work? I'm Tulsa attorney James Worth, and that's the question that we have, an evergreen retainer. When you're hiring an attorney, there's a few different agreements to choose from depending on the type of case and what the attorney wants to do and what can be agreed upon to handle that representation. So for some types of matters, the law office may take it on a contingency contract. So you sign your contingency retainer agreement, and then you don't pay the attorney anything unless they recover something for you, and then they take a percentage of that recovery. That would be common in personal injury type cases. Another one would be a flat fee. So you retain the attorney for a very specific work to be done, and that is quoted at a flat rate, meaning that is all you pay. You know the exact amount out front, you pay that, it's handled, no more, no less. Those are common for, with my office, we do this for agreed divorces, for a lot of criminal cases, misdemeanors, the flat fee, so you know up front. But for other types of cases, then you usually have a retainer that is billed up hourly. That's where you're going to see contested family law cases, most other litigation. It's going to be about the hourly rate. And this is a type of hourly retainer, is the evergreen retainer. So what is the evergreen retainer and how does that work? Well, that means that you, in order to secure your attorney, you're paying a retainer, you're paying an amount of money up front, and then that is set aside in a trust account. And then work is to be done on the case that bills up hourly, and when that work is done and billed, then you replenish your retainer by paying the amount that was billed. So there's a couple of different ways of looking at this to try to make it make more sense. So one is if you're renting an apartment. If you're renting an apartment, then you pay a deposit, and that gets you into the apartment. Same thing as an evergreen retainer when you're retaining an attorney. You pay that retainer down, that gets you into representation. But when you retain that, when you obtain that apartment, you still have to pay rent, even though you pay that deposit every month. You have to pay what your rent is, and then if you pay your rent on time and you leave the apartment in good condition, when you're done with your lease and you move out, you get that original deposit back. Same thing with an evergreen retainer. You pay an amount up front, say $5,000 evergreen retainer, the attorney gets in the case, they invoice you for work that's done as they do it. We do weekly invoicing at this point, so every Monday we send out an invoice for work that's done. You can look at that itemized statement, see the work that's done and how that totals up to the amounts, and then that's paid out of the evergreen retainer, goes from trust in order to cover that bill, and then you pay that same amount in order to get your evergreen retainer back up to that $5,000. So you maintain that just like you're paying rent, you're paying for the work that's done, but just like the deposit, you have that evergreen retainer sitting in trust to handle issues as they come up. As long as you pay your bills on time, once your case is done, then you get that evergreen retainer returned back to you. So that evergreen retainer is basically like collateral. It's so the attorney knows that they're going to get paid, so they don't have to worry about collection efforts, and so that they can handle less cases because they know they're going to get paid on all of their cases, so they can devote attention to your case. Another way to look at it is kind of like a gas tank. You got to keep the gas tank full if you want the car to keep running and moving forward. If you don't keep the gas tank full and it runs out, no more work gets done on the case, they withdraw from your case, got to keep it full. So that's an evergreen retainer and how that works. You pay an amount up front to secure the attorney in, and then as work is done, you pay that bill to maintain that retainer at the $5,000 balance. So when the case is done, you get that $5,000 back, and you know that the attorney is putting the work into your case, and the attorney knows that they're going to get paid for their efforts. So any questions about that or anything else related to Oklahoma law, then you can talk to an attorney privately and confidentially to receive legal advice. To get that scheduled with an attorney in my office, you can go online to makelawEasy.com.